Have you ever had this feeling like your mind is always anxious, like something in your routine is missing? Something that's small, but weirdly powerful, that's not allowing you to level up. That was me for months. I tried everything, journaling, meditating daily, and even exercising almost every day. And all of it actually helped, but something in me still felt off. Like my brain was stuck. Then something happened that I didn't expect at all. And guess what? It changed everything. I kept thinking, why is my mind always anxious? Why doesn't my baseline ever feel calm? I was doing all the right things to try and declutter my mind, and it would help for a while. But it never really clicked for me that it wasn't my mind that was the issue. The real problem was actually my environment. Let me show you how. One day, I decided to buy a new PC. Not for fun, but to actually level up the quality of my live YouTube videos. Get more efficient with having multiple screens available to me, and helping with the strain that the laptop put on my neck. I didn't know that this one decision was going to actually expose the true reason behind my baseline anxiety. So let me carry on with this story. To fit this new setup, I had to completely remodel my whole room. As I started moving things around, I found drawers full of junk that I didn't need at all. Clothes that didn't fit, receipts that were from like years ago, wires from electronics that I don't even own anymore. And for the first time ever, I asked myself, why is this shit even here? Piece by piece, I started throwing things out. First, I tossed all the electronic wires into recycling. Then I made a bundle of clothes that didn't fit me and asked my family and friends if they wanted it, and if they didn't, I just donated the rest. And as I started looking through my drawers, more than half of them had no use, and they literally had like 1 or 2 items that I just switched into different drawers. And I was able to toss out 2 full drawers of empty space in my room. Then I started becoming very intentional with the space I actually had left. And something insane happened. My mind started to feel lighter, physically lighter, mentally lighter. I didn't think anything of it. I just went to sleep and went to work the next day. But guess what? Coming home after work to a room that was open, clear, and intentional had my mind in a flow state and rolling to a point that I could actually do a deep work session even after my 14-hour day. It was crazy. My damn mind block was just gone, and my baseline anxiety was also just gone. So here's something you don't hear every day. Your environment trains your mind, not just the people that you hang out with, but actually your workplace and relaxation space as well. If your room is cluttered, your mind's going to be cluttered. If you don't know where things are or where they belong, your mind's in a state of constant micro stress. I didn't realize actually how much time I spent looking for things until I did this. How much of my attention was actually fried, not because of my ADHD, but because everything around me was so chaotic. Once I knew where everything belonged, it was cemented in my mind. And there was order, there was clarity. And that's when I understood something very deep. The stuff that you possess ends up possessing you if it has no purpose in your life. And guess what? Most of us are actually drowning in just-in-case items that we never use. So, just like how I decluttered my space and my mind, here are 3 ways you can do the same as well. Number 1 is the 10-10 rule. If something costs less than $10 and it actually takes you less than 10 minutes to get it from Amazon or your next grocery run, guess what? Just get rid of that shit. I used to keep random cables, old clothes, receipts from years ago, and broken pens for those just-in-case moments. And guess what? Those just-in-cases never come, and these stupid items started having room in my mental space rent-free. So if it costs less than $10 and takes less than 10 minutes to get, just get rid of it. Number 2, the garbage bag rule. Every once in a while, I kept a black garbage bag at the end of my closet, and I would just throw those just-in-case items in there. I would let it sit there for a few weeks and let it fill up, and then I would just revisit it with a little bit more clarity to see if I needed those just-in-case items. And guess what? 99.99% of the times, I didn't, and I would just throw away that shit. So the point I'm trying to make is, have you ever come to your room after a busy week and thought to yourself, how did all this junk get here? That's literally compounding, and you can take advantage of this same method in the opposite direction, where you start decluttering things in your room and then coming and revisiting it and then throwing it away by this garbage bag rule. Rule number 3, the 2-day habit rule. So this one's a little extra bonus one for you all. It has nothing to do with your environment, but it has a lot to do with your mind and your emotional well-being, which at the end of the day all ties into decluttering your mind anyways. So here's another story. For my winter arc this year, I decided to do at least 1 hour of deep work session every single day, no matter what, until 2026. And it started off beautifully. Every single day, even after a 14-hour day, I would get at least 1 hour of deep work session in and work on my extracurriculars and all the studying material I had to do for my ICU course. However, during my last 3 days of my 12-hour working shift, I had to stay at work for another hour just to make sure my patient was safe. So I ended up getting home at about 9 p.m. that day. And after my decluttering time, where I showered, had dinner, and meditated, it was already 9:40 p.m. And this was a time where my mind just could not stay awake longer. I knew if I started my deep work session, it would be super unproductive and it would take away from my sleep for the next day. So my 24-day streak came to an end on November 6, 2025. I pretended like it was all good, but it was killing me inside that I could not do this deep work session that day. However, something very, very productive happened the next day. I reflected on this day and realized this is just life. This is normal. So I came up with the 2-day habit rule. I told myself I'm never allowed to miss a good habit 2 days in a row. 1 day is okay as life can get in the way. However, it is very unlikely that life will happen to you 2 days in a row where you miss the habit again. This rule has literally changed the consistency of my life and made it way more sustainable. So I hope it helps one of you as well. So when I was actually remodeling my room, I thought I was just making some space for my new PC. What I didn't know I would discover was that I was actually making space for a calmer mind too, a more focused brain, and a better version for myself. I realized clarity isn't found from thinking more. It's found from removing things that don't matter. The peace that I was actually looking for didn't come from journaling more or meditating harder. It literally came from getting rid of silent stressors in my environment. So if you feel stuck, anxious, or unable to level up, before you assume that something is wrong with your mindset, take a look at your environment. Open your drawers, look under your bed, check your shelves, and ask yourself, is this thing actually helping me or is it holding me hostage? Because the things that you actually keep just in case might be blocking your growth. So declutter your space, declutter your mind, and watch how everything starts to make sense again. I hope this video resonates with someone and helps them get over their mental hump as well, like it did for me. And don't forget, let's continue to grow together.